You work hard, you earn money, but somehow it never stays. No matter how much you make, you still feel stuck at the same level. Same bills, same impulse spending, same missed opportunities. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not your income, it's not the economy, and it's not bad luck. It's money blocks, invisible beliefs and habits that quietly sabotage your financial progress. They tell you to spend now instead of investing for later. They normalize living paycheck to paycheck even when you earn more. They keep you busy but never moving forward. And until you identify them, your money will keep slipping through your hands. Today, we're exposing those blocks. And more importantly, we're removing them. What are money blocks? Money blocks are subconscious beliefs you didn't choose, but you live by every single day. They're ideas about money that were planted early, before you were even aware you were learning them. They usually come from childhood, from watching how adults struggled or stressed, from society telling you what's possible for people like you, from family habits passed down as normal, and from past failures that quietly taught you to play small. These beliefs don't feel like beliefs. They feel like facts. They sound like simple thoughts, but they act like unbreakable rules. Rules like, money is hard to keep. Rich people are greedy. I'm just not good with money. I'll start investing when I earn more. They don't shout at you. They whisper. And because you never stop to question them, you follow them. Every spending choice, every missed opportunity, every financial risk you avoid, it all passes through these invisible filters. That's why two people can earn the same income, live in the same economy, and still end up in completely different financial realities. Not because of luck, but because of belief. First money block, scarcity thinking. Scarcity thinking is the belief that there's never enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity. It's the quiet voice in your head that tells you to play small, to stay safe, to hold on tight. Because what if this is all you ever get? When you think this way, your decisions change. You rush, you panic, you choose speed over strategy. You spend just to feel relief. You avoid investing because it feels risky. You say no to long-term growth because short-term comfort feels urgent. Scarcity makes every choice feel like an emergency. Instead of asking, is this smart? You ask, what can I afford right now? And that single question keeps you trapped. Because affordability is about today, but wealth is built by thinking about tomorrow. Scarcity thinking trains you to survive, not to build. It keeps you focused on bills, not balance sheets, on quick wins, not lasting systems, on what you might lose instead of what you could multiply. Now compare that to abundance thinking. Abundance doesn't ignore reality, it simply sees further. Instead of asking, what can I afford right now? It asks, what will this cost me later? Later in missed opportunities, later in wasted years, later in potential never realized. Abundance understands that patience is not deprivation, it's leverage. Scarcity keeps you reacting. Abundance lets you plan. Scarcity keeps you stuck in cycles. Abundance helps you break them. Because the goal was never just to survive. The goal was to build something that outlasts fear. And the moment you change how you think is the moment your money starts to follow. Second money block. Identity blocks. Your identity controls your income. More than your skills, more than your effort, more than your opportunities. Because money doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you believe you are. If deep down, you see yourself as bad with money, not disciplined, or just getting by, then every financial decision you make will quietly align with that identity. Not consciously. Automatically. You can work harder. You can earn more. You can even get a breakthrough. But if your identity hasn't changed, you will always drift back to what feels familiar. That's why raises disappear. Bonuses vanish without explanation. Side hustles collapse just when they start working. Not because you're unlucky, but because your internal identity says, this isn't who we are. So your behavior adjusts. You spend more, you stop tracking, you lose focus, you self-sabotage without realizing it. Your comfort zone isn't a place, it's an identity. And until you upgrade who you see yourself as, Your income will keep resetting to match that image, change your identity, and your money is forced to follow. Third money block, emotional spending. Money isn't logical. It's emotional. Most people don't actually spend money. They spend feelings, stress, boredom, loneliness, the need to feel important, the need to feel better right now, that late night order, that impulsive upgrade, that I deserve this purchase. It isn't about the item. It's about relief. In that moment, spending feels like control. It feels like comfort. It feels like a small win in a hard day. But here's the trap. Relief is temporary. Regret lasts longer. Once the excitement fades, the bill remains. The balance doesn't disappear, and the emotion that caused the spending comes back. So you repeat the cycle. Over time, emotional spending rewires your brain. Money stops being a tool. It becomes an escape. You train yourself to use spending as a coping mechanism instead of discipline, planning, or patience. And every time that happens, something breaks quietly in the background. Your savings slow down. Your goals move further away. Your future pays for your present emotions. This is why many people earn more, but never build wealth. They don't have an income problem. They have an emotional regulation problem. Financial growth begins the moment you pause and ask yourself one question. Am I buying this for value or for validation? Because when emotions control your money controls your future. And freedom only comes when you break that pattern. Fourth money block. Fear of growth. Success isn't comfortable. It never was. More money doesn't just mean more freedom. It means more responsibility, more visibility, more decisions that actually matter. And deep down, many people aren't afraid of failing. They're afraid of what happens if they succeed, because growth forces you to level up, to be seen, to be judged, to handle pressure you've never carried before. So the mind looks for safety. It procrastinates. It overthinks. It waits for the perfect timing that never comes. Not because you're lazy, but because staying broke feels familiar. Struggle is predictable. Growth is unknown, and the brain is wired to avoid the unknown. So it chooses familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. Until you make one decision clear, discomfort is the price of expansion, and comfort is the cost of staying the same. How to remove money blocks. You don't remove money blocks with motivation. Motivation fades. Willpower runs out. You remove money blocks with awareness and systems. Because money blocks aren't a lack of effort. They're unconscious patterns running in the background of your mind. Here's how you start breaking them, step by step. First, catch the thought. Every time you hear yourself think, I can't afford this, pause and ask a better question. Is this actually true, or is this fear speaking? Most of the time, it's not about affordability. It's about uncertainty, risk, past mistakes. Fear disguises itself as logic. When you expose it, it loses power. Second, delay emotional decisions. Emotion is fast. Logic is slow. That's why impulse spending feels urgent, and regret shows up later. Give yourself 24 hours before spending money emotionally. One day, you'll be shocked how many must-have purchases quietly die with time. Impulse feeds on speed. Discipline feeds on delay. Third, change your identity language. Stop saying, I'm bad with money. I'm not disciplined. I'll never be rich. Every sentence like that is an instruction to your brain. Start saying, I'm learning to manage money well. I'm becoming more disciplined. I make better financial decisions every month. It may feel small, but your brain listens, and it adjusts your behavior to match the identity you claim. Fourth, automate growth. The less you have to decide, the less emotion gets involved. Automate your investing. Automate your saving. Automate progress. When growth happens automatically, fear can't interfere. Because emotion is inconsistent, and emotion is the enemy of wealth. Awareness breaks the block. Systems keep it broken. That's how money blocks actually disappear. Call to action. Your income is not your real problem. Your mindset is. Money blocks don't disappear overnight, but the moment you become aware of them, they start losing their power over you. Because what you can see, you can change. Wealth is not about luck. It's not about timing, and it's definitely not about working harder than everyone else. It's about alignment. When your beliefs change, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your habits follow. And when your habits change, your money finally stops slipping through your fingers. If this video helped you recognize your money blocks, subscribe to this channel, because financial freedom doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind, long before the money ever shows up.